Okay, so welcome to this course. Uh, I have some list on expected students. Uh, Sadly, most of them are not qualified to take the course. Hopefully, you guys are, but I encourage you to all come talk to me afterwards and we can check. If you have been able to register for the course, then you're okay. But you have there are a lot of prerequisites for the course, three other courses, and one of them you took just last period, the 1DV700, I think. But I got the results, and most of you managed that course well. But we can talk about if you're not been able to register, to come talk to me after this introduction. Okay, so I think we're starting on the wrong slide, actually. Yeah. So what we're going to talk about today, well, this is just an introduction. Most of the lecture will be in already pre-recorded or lectures that are links to other lectures on YouTube or other sites. I am mainly positioned in Kalmar. That's why I have a teaching assistant who will be here. You will have the most contact with Maxime. The labs, if you looked at the schedule before a couple of hours ago, it has been changed a bit because you were planned to have the lab work here in this, and it's quite hard to do that without any computers. How many of you have access to your own computer that you could work with? Most of you, yeah. And then I encourage you to do that. It's easier for you. Then you can do it at home or here or anywhere you please. But I have booked the D1142 for the labs, but you can bring your computer there and work. Since the platform that you've been using is just a web browser to create all the machines. I will talk a bit about the lab environment later on. So we are talking about the basic of the course today and the structure of the course. And and then I will talk a bit about the lab environment. And feel free to ask any questions if you want during this. So my name is Jacob Lindehoff, and I'm a course coordinator for this course. I'm the program coordinator for a program that we have in Kalmar, and it's a distance course also, software development and operations, it's called. And then we have Maxime, who you will have the most contact with. He will be the lab leader and the seminar hostess. Um, the course homepage is not Moodle, even if you probably see Moodle link in your when you log into studentslnu.se. I won't be using that. Since the new LADOC, we thought that we have to abandon our old platform, the CoursePress platform, but we managed to get it working helpfully for another year, hopefully. Then we will, in Kalmar courses usually use CoursePress. Have you used that platform before? Yeah, yeah. It's an open platform, and we think it's much easier to work with. But so even if you have the link to Moodle, you will use the CoursePress homepage for getting all your assignments and seminars and stuff like that. Here you will also be able to register for the seminar groups. That will probably change. I think since you are not that much, I think we will extend the seminar. I think I booked for 1 hour now. I think you actually need 1.5 hours. So I will change the span a bit from the times that are now on the course on the homepage. Otherwise, I think I've updated the schedule accordingly. We will use Slack as a communication platform. For 1 week, Maxime won't be here, so I will handle we won't have any seminars that week, but we have a lab tutoring session. And I haven't decided if I will go here or if we can use Slack and make a phone call to each other and I will help you out. Because I lose around 3 hours on just travel to go here. And for most of the part, I don't think you will get anything extra from me being here than being in the computer. But if you really want me to get here, I will probably, then we have to change when the lab starts. I think it starts at 8 now. I can't be here until 9:30. But we will get that's 3 weeks in or so. So, not much to say there. I have divided this course in 5 modules. And most of the modules has two parts that you have to do that's a mandatory. It's a lab and a seminar. And the seminar is you have probably have seminars before, but a lot of questions that I have written. And then you, before the seminar, will prepare and know the answer to all the questions according to your knowledge. You don't have to get every answer correctly at the seminar. The seminar should be a learning process. So it's okay if you don't have the correct answer, but you should at least have tried to find the right answer. And then you have the discussion in a group with around 5 people. I think I've set it up now. I think that's a good size for a group. And then the questions will go around. So you don't have to answer every question. It's every 5th question or something like that. But you should have prepared all the answers for all the questions. And as Maxime said, most of the questions on the exam will be picked from the seminar questions. So it's good to attend sorry, and take notes during the seminars to correct your answers or maybe broaden them a bit. So the first module starts today, yesterday actually, and goes on for 2 weeks. It's not a big module, so you might think it's quite easy or you have the most time left, but we have decided to do that because it's a lot of new tools for you to learn, the cloud platform that we have, and also I will encourage you to install something on your own computer and model, try to install an operating system from the ground up. So, and that can take some time. So we have 2 weeks for this, but I don't think it will take more than 1.5 weeks for you. And I always encourage you when we have a new module to start with the seminar, because the questions that you will answer during the seminar or when you look for the answers will help you with the lab. So I encourage you to start writing your answers, even if you don't have the seminar until the week after. You will prepare your seminar before you start the lab. That's my advice to you anyway. And the first module, where the content of it is server and client. What is the difference? Our lab setup, we call it Lab Cloud FTK. It's running on OpenStack. If you have read about cloud solutions, it's an open platform for that. How do we do installation of a server operating system and basic configuration? So that's the first module. The second module is around storage and access control, and it starts directly after that, the first module. And here we talk about file systems. You probably talked a bit about those before in the operating system course and other courses. But what's the difference between the Windows and the Unix or Linux file systems? We talk a bit about access control. How do we grant access for users or groups? And how do we group storage so we can get faster storage or redundant storage? We do that with the RAID systems. The next module is also 2 weeks, and we're talking about some basic network roles that server usually have. You need it for the infrastructure. So we have DNS. I hope you know what DNS is, a bit anyway. Yes, exactly. And DHCP, and then we talk about file server, and I think we also in that one maybe having a web server put in. So here we have quite a big lab, so a lot of cover here. And the next module 4 could be a really big module. I used to have 2 7.5 courses in just Active Directory. I think you probably know what Active Directory is. It's a directory service for handling all users or computers in a big network. We will only scratch the surface here. You will install it and learn how to manage an Active Directory database. And we talk a little bit about group policies. It's a module inside Active Directory where you can control what users can do in your environment and what they can do on their own computers. But you will only try some bit of this. And then we have access control, which gets quite easy with Active Directory. how we control what users can do on different parts of the systems. The last module won't have a lab. It will be, you will get an assignment because it's quite hard to have a lab around troubleshooting. You will learn troubleshooting during the whole course because you will end up with problems, as you mentioned before. And perform and stuff like that is really hard to test in a lab environment. It doesn't do anything really good. So this will be a theoretical part instead. So you will get some tools and you will analyze them, and then in a group discussion discuss what you found with your other students. And as you see, the two last module actually intertwine a bit. This will go on to the 9th of March, but this will start at the 5th. So because we don't have a lab in this one, but it's okay to have the exam for the lab the same week. And at the end, you will have a written exam. And as Maxime said, most of the questions will come from the seminar anyways. I will, Maxime and I will talk before every seminar, so he has the same picture as me on what I think you should have learned during the seminar and what the questions should be. But you won't get a correct answer for each question. I won't hand that out. That's something. If you have questions and you don't feel that you have gotten the good picture on the topic from Maxime, of course you can send it on Slack and I can maybe send my views on that topic. Okay, so what's next? I have some more things I want to discuss. The first and foremost is the course registration. So see that you can register on the course. If you can't do that, you talk to me after this lecture and we will go through why. But just to sum it up, you need 3 courses. You need 1DV700, you need 1DV512, that's operating system. The 700 is the security course, right? And you need 506, the problem solving course. That's one of the first courses you took, I think. So that's and in some courses I could be okay if you have managed to the written exam. But you have to have some part of the course a grade on that. But come talk to me. And then I think you should register on the seminars. I will change the times a bit. I think I booked them from 9, 10, and 11 now. I will change that to 8:30, so we get 1.5 hours on each seminar group instead. But I think we will manage with 3 groups, because I don't think you are that large of a student group now. So the first thing I want you to focus on when you get this first 2 points done is the first seminar. It will be on the homepage already. I will guide you through that in a minute. So start writing your answers on the seminar. You can do this in groups if you want to do that. It's okay. And then when you think that you have all the answers for that, you can start with the lab. For the lab environment, you need an account in our service, and you don't have that now. And I don't want to generate that before I know who will be able to register for the course. So I probably will do that in 2 or 3 days or something like that. But you will have plenty of things to do with the seminars. The other thing I wanted to discuss is virtualization. And this isn't a course about virtualization, but you will be using it quite a lot. Have you used virtualization before? Anybody else? A little bit. Okay. So this isn't a course about virtualization, but it's a good thing to have some knowledge about how it works. So what does a computer or server need to be able to run an operating system? What basic do we need for be able to run an operating system? Any ideas? Hardware? Yeah. What kind of hardware? Motherboard, yeah. Some sort of foundation. What do we? Memory? Oh, that's a good pen. All right, in Veco you need to bring your own pen. So we need, I just type memory, graphics, some say. Do we need anything more?
We could use
Network. Storage. Missing something? Yeah. The brain. CPU. Well, the other thing won't do much without that. No. And I think most of these components you have discussed somewhat in maybe the operating system course or other courses, but not much in depth probably. But we need these parts to be able to run an operating system. And these made up, the hardware. And on top of that hardware, we can run an operating system. Oh. So in your labs, in the end, you will probably have around 10-ish machines. So for you, now you're not that many, but other times when we have taken this course, we've been around 20 or 30 students. 30 students times 10 machines, that's quite a lot of service we will have to add here, so somewhere where you two can. And that's only one problem. The other problem is that you need to set them up. You need to go there. Need to have maybe a monitor and a keyboard and a mouse to be able to configure these. It wouldn't be able to do this, to have these kind of courses. It wouldn't be manageable. So we use virtualization. And virtualization is quite easy at its core, and you don't need to understand the whole picture. But what it does is it have most of this. We have some sort of hardware. It can be my computer, or it can be a real big server. But instead of running an operating system directly on that, we have something called a virtualization layer. And it can differ. Some actually has an operating system first and then a virtualization layer. But what that does, because an operating system at its core is used to, I will have access to all the hardware, no one else. So now we will tell the CPU to do things, I will expect it to do it directly. When I will access some part of the memory, I don't think that anyone else is on that memory, so I can take it all. And that's how operating system works. So if we will try to add two operating systems directly without the virtualization layer, then we will get locks and corrupted file systems, and yeah, no good. It will only work for a couple of seconds probably, if even that. So we have this virtualization layer, which will do all the talking with the hardware. And it will, I'm making an easy picture for you now, so everything I send isn't technically correct, but it's easier for you to see it like that. Will emulate hardware. So we have a CPU, we will have mem, we will have a NIC, and some storage. And then we can install the operating system. So this doesn't physically exist. This is just a virtualization layer talking to the operating system. Okay, here you have your stuff. And then the virtualization layer will handle all the complicated thing in dividing, so that you only get part of this part of the memory, or how it does it. It's really up to the virtualization layer. And here we have a lot of different vendors who are doing this. So that is the core. And this you can install on your own computer. You have VirtualBox, which is a really easy and good way to get started with virtualization on your own computer. It's free. It doesn't take up much space, and then you can run other operating systems on top of your own. Here you will have actually have your operating system first, the main operating system, and then the virtualization layer. But then you get some overhead that you won't get the best performance with that. But this is a good way when you want to try out things, when you want to maybe test the Linux, even if you're running on Windows, or you want to see how to connect two machines virtually with each other and make them communicate. So the first lab actually is divided in two parts. The first part is where you install VirtualBox on your computer. You can't do that in the computer hall, so you have to use your own computer for that, and install an operating system. And that is not a mandatory part of the lab because I can't make you use your own computer. So I haven't done that mandatory. But why I want you to do this is two-parted. The one thing is that you get to know a little bit about virtualization. The other thing is that you will be able to install an operating system from the ground up and see how the installation process works. Because in a lab, in a cloud solution, which you will use for the rest of the course, we have, let's just say a cloud, OpenStack. And wherever you are sitting, it doesn't matter in the world, you can access this from a web browser, labcloudftk.lnu.se. And then you have a login. You log in and you will get some resources. So you will have a project here and you will get 10 gigs of RAM and 5 different networks and stuff like that. But when you want to create a machine, you don't install it from the ground up. Because in our solution, we have some sort of a library where we have predefined images, we say. So here we can have a Windows 10 machine. We can have an Ubuntu 16.14 or something like that. Different images. And these are pre-installed operating system. But we haven't done anything but install the operating system. Because we can't just allocate resources and then we can't do this part and then you can't insert a CD or something like that and install the operating system. So they are predefined. So when you start up a machine in your project, it will be already installed. So we'll get to it and you maybe have to type in your password, a new password, something like that. But you won't see the installation process, and I think it's a good way to learn how that works, that you do it on your own computer. You can actually do the whole course with VirtualBox on your own machine, but when we are starting to have maybe 8, 9 machines, your computer won't be able to handle that. Because every machine, especially Windows machines, is very memory hungry, so it will drain all your memory, so your own computer will get really slow. So that's why we have this. You can run maybe 2,000 servers in this solution. So the first part, and that you can do before you get your account here in the OpenStack environment, is to try install VirtualBox and install, I think, 2 operating systems, Windows and 1 Linux machine. I think it's Ubuntu. I have a demo for that. I will have been created quite a lot of demos for different operating systems. And maybe those demos are not specifically for this course because I have other courses with the same topics. So maybe if I say something that you think that shouldn't involve me, then it probably won't. You will see in the title, I usually use the course code in the title for every video. And then you can say, okay, this is for another course. But the things that I will teach you in that video will be good for what you are trying to do. Okay, so that's virtualization. And there are quite a lot of more you can talk about virtualization, but I think this is enough for what you need to know now. So let's see the course homepage for now. So you will find it I can share a link in the Slack channel, or I can. How would I distribute that in the easiest way to you? Well, the easiest way is for you to learn coursepress.lnu.se. And if you don't then learn the name, or you can go to that and then you go to courses, eller kurser, and you can just search for the course here, or it will be in this list, server administration. You don't have to be logged in to access the material, but you have to be logged in. I think I will sign out now, so you will see the same thing as I would if I were you. There. And yeah, this is what you will see if you're not logged in. You won't be able to register for the seminar groups if you're not logged in. That's the only thing you won't be able to access. I haven't divided you in lab groups because I think it will be fine with just one group, since you're not that many. So these times will change. In the schedule, as you will find here, when we have a seminar, it will be booked the whole time, but you will only have 1.5 hours during that time. And what time you will have, you will see here. And you will only register this once. So you have to choose your time that you will be able to be there all the seminars in beforehand. So you don't register for each seminar. This is for the whole course. So the times will probably be 8:30 to 9, 9 to 10:30, and 10:30 to 12. But I will change that directly after this. So when you get here, you probably will say the new times. And the layout of the course, well, actually, I haven't talked about the literature. This book is quite big. We won't go through all of it. And I think it's a really good book about how to administer and be a system administrator. So if you really like to learn more about that, even more than we will go through in this course, it's a really good book. I think that you will manage without having this book to take this course, because every module will have this study material, and I will have link to the book and a lot of other links. And I think you will find the answer to seminars during the if you read all about this. So it's up to you, but it's a really good book about system administration, and I think you can find it even cheaper than this. I haven't updated this, but this is the 3rd edition you should get if you are planning to getting this book. If you are more into cloud computing and how to manage that, then yeah, they actually have the practice of cloud computing and network administration, I think they have, which is a really good book also. If this recording will work, then it will be here. We will see about that. So what more about? Yeah, a link to the Slack. If you don't have an account, then you need to go to coursepass.slack.com and register for a login there. And then you will subscribe. I can show you. Yeah, so we have a lot of different channels. Each course that we have in Kalmar will have a note channel. And this course has a channel. And if you go to that link I showed before, you will get directly into this. Here you will see, we'll probably have a lot of students registered for this that took the course before. You can go back and read if you want the discussions. Every time, the whole homepage and all the labs is on GitHub. So when I made a change in something, it will directly be posted here automatically. So now I changed the deadline, so you can see that on the GitHub, but you won't get your information from GitHub. All the information will be on on the course homepage. So the things that you can read here is actually an MD file that is on GitHub. And if you find something that you don't agree with, or something that is bad spelling, you can actually go to GitHub and change it, and I will get an email and I can approve the change. If you have, I encourage you, if you have other links that you found that, oh, everyone should get this link, you can post it on Slack and I will add it, or you can go to GitHub and change it there directly. So each module will have this structure. So overview, the lab, the seminar, and the study materials. I think that we are missing the module 2, but it will be here. I won't publish the next module until we have come somewhat into this one. I don't want you to go too much forward in the course. But at least half a week before the module starts, you should be able to get all the materials for that module. And if you are tricky, you will realize that all the material is already there, because on GitHub, you can see all the materials if you want to. So here we have the entire course homepage. So you can read it. But if it isn't published on the course homepage, it's not official. So maybe I will change it or edit it in some way. But if you want to look for what's coming up, then you can go here and read about it. Okay. So the labs, the first one is a little bit different since we have 2 parts. And here I have a demo, and here you can see that this is for another course, but this is installation and post setup. And yeah, you can just watch me do the thing. And I want you to actually do the same thing, but here you can hear me talk about it, how you set up VirtualBox and start installing an operating system. I think here it's an old, if I say Ubuntu 14, the Ubuntu system, when they name their releases are the year, and then they have 2 releases every year. So it's 1604 or 1610. I think they release it in April and in October every year. So here is 1404, so that's quite old. So don't use that. Use the latest if you want to. It won't probably have changed that much. And the second part is the one that is mandatory, that Maxime will correct and look during one of the labs. And here you will have a PDF on what I want you to do. You usually write these memos in the way that you are working in the company and you get this assignment, and then you should be able to do that. I hope the link worked. Yeah, it probably did. It's on the other screen. And you can actually change in these also. They are on GitHub in LaTeX format if you want to, if I've written something bad. But they have the same structure. We have an introduction, we have a deadline around how it will be when you have it done. And then we have some sort of picture on what you will do and some requirements. So the lab memo won't say exactly how to do it. Just this is how I want it to be when it's done. These are the requirements. So these are the tasks that I want you to fulfill. So when Maxime check your solution, you should fulfill these requirements. And how to know how to do this? Well, then you go to the study materials. There you will find. So we won't have, as you see, I don't have any lectures in this. Everything will be on the study materials on what I think you need to watch or read to be able to do the assignment. Okay, and the seminars, which probably should be before this one because I want you to do them before. It's the same thing here. We have the deadlines. If you can't be in the seminar for some reason, and I think the only reason is if you're sick, otherwise you should be there. If you can't be there, then you shall within 3 days send in a written report. And there you have to be very specific in every question. What is your answer? So I think you will get much more out of attending the seminars. And some of the seminars have quite a lot of questions, some not that much, but maybe each question will take more time to understand. And also we have the introduction and the deadline. If you see a deadline that doesn't make sense because it's the wrong day or maybe it's 2017, then I've forgotten to update it. But I gone through most of them anyway. And they are usually divided in some different groups. So we have general, a little bit about Windows and the Windows core, and we have Linux after that. So quite a lot of questions. Okay. And then we have this lab cloud. Here is a tutorial I made, I think last year. And it's about how to get started with our lab solution. And I will go through everything you need to know to create the machine and connect the networks. We will actually have predefined a lot of things in your project, so you don't have to do it, because this isn't a course about networking. So I predefined the different networks that you need and other things. But I will go through it. It's about 45 minutes long. And this you can also watch even before you starting with the cloud. But I think I probably will wait and do it when you can do the same thing yourself and try it out. We usually update our cloud every 2 years, every second year or something like that. And I think we have made some updates, so maybe things is an exact same way. If it doesn't work, then of course you should tell me and I can update the video. But I think that this will work for the version that we have now. I looked through it yesterday, but I think it will work. As you see, all of the videos will be on YouTube, so you can use your phone or anything if you want to have that beside you when you're doing a lab. I don't know if I have collected them. No, these are for some courses I have a playlist for the course, but since in this course I will collect videos from a lot of different courses, I probably haven't done that. But that you should absolutely watch before you can get started. And here you will also get your login for our cloud environment, and it will be posted on here. And for you to be able to see your information here, you will have to be logged in, of course. Yep.
I was thinking, does it still have that problem with Control-Alt-Delete?
No, we had some in Windows. When you want to log in, you have to type in Control-Alt-Delete. The problem is when you do that on your computer, you will log yourself out or get this, so it won't send that to the virtual machine. But we have a button now in this console. I think I don't know if it's in this tutorial. Probably not, because I think this was last year. When you administer your machines in Windows, let's see if I can open this up. You see that I am in a web browser here, but I still can have this window where I can see the machine. In Linux, you will probably use SSH from your own computer to go through a machine. But in Windows, we have to do this console, and that can be quite buggy when handling the keyboards. But I think it's much better now. Up here in the corner, you will have a button that says Control-Alt-Delete. When you press that, it will send that to the virtual machine. So I think it will work better this year. Maxime will go through the lab before you have the first meeting, so it shouldn't be a problem. So here you can see an overview on the different modules and when they start and when they finish. I don't think that I have anything more. Do you have any questions? The first part is not mandatory. No, the thing that with VirtualBox. So no, you don't have to do that if you feel comfortable with the installation process. The Windows installation process is quite similar. If even if it's a client or a server, it's the same process. So you don't have to do that if you have done that on your own machine yourself and know how that works. So no. The post setup you will do in the cloud. So how to configure it after the installation process is finished. And that is mandatory. Okay, so I think we will end here, and everyone who hasn't been able to register for the course, come talk to me and we will look through why. Good, thank you.